Start of script. Have you ever looked at something familiar, something you see every day, and suddenly realized it's completely changed? For me, it was my wife's wedding ring. It sat there on her finger, sparkling just as brightly as the day I put it there, but the woman wearing it, she was a stranger. My name is Leo, and for 12 years, I thought I had it all. A loving wife, Sarah, two amazing kids, and a life we'd built from the ground up. We were that couple, you know? The one everyone said was goals. We finished each other's sentences, we had our inside jokes, our shared dreams. I thought our foundation was solid, unbreakable. But I was wrong. A foundation can hold up a house when one person is secretly digging it out from underneath. It started subtly. So subtly I almost didn't notice. Sarah started working late. "Big project at the firm," she'd say, looking tired but determined. I admired her ambition. I'd have dinner ready, help the kids with their homework, and wait up for her, just to get a few minutes together before we collapsed into bed. Then there were the girls' nights out, which became more and more frequent. I never questioned it. Why would I? Trust was the cornerstone of our marriage. I trusted her completely. The first real crack appeared one Saturday afternoon. Sarah was in the shower, and her phone, which was usually glued to her hand, was on the nightstand. It buzzed. It wasn't my business, but the name on the screen caught my eye. Mark, work. The message preview read, "Last night was incredible, can't stop thinking about—" My heart stopped. It felt like the air had been punched out of my lungs. Mark. I knew Mark. He was her colleague, a guy she mentioned a few times. "Just a friend from the office," she'd said. But that message, it didn't sound like just a friend. I felt a cold wave of nausea wash over me. My hands were shaking. I wanted to confront her right then and there, to throw the phone at the bathroom door and demand an explanation. But what if I was wrong? What if there was a simple explanation? Doubt and fear paralyzed me. So I did nothing. I put the phone down and pretended I hadn't seen it. That was my first mistake. From that day on, I became a detective in my own home. I started noticing things I'd been blind to before. The way she smiled at her phone, a secret private smile that wasn't for me. The way she'd angle her body away from me when she was texting. The sudden need for privacy, taking calls in another room or stepping outside. Every whispered conversation, every locked screen felt like a small betrayal. The late nights at work continued, but now they felt different. I'd call the office, just to check, and the night security guard would say everyone had left hours ago. I'd drive by the restaurant where she was supposedly having dinner with her friends, and her car would be nowhere in sight. The lies were piling up, each one a brick in the wall she was building between us. I felt like I was losing my mind. Was I being paranoid? Was I imagining things? I was living in a constant state of anxiety, my stomach in knots. The happy, confident man I used to be was gone, replaced by a ghost haunting his own marriage, searching for clues. The love and warmth that once filled our home had been replaced by a chilling silence, thick with unspoken words and hidden truths. The breaking point came a few weeks later. It was our anniversary. I had planned a surprise weekend getaway to the same little cabin where I had proposed. I'd arranged for my parents to watch the kids. I bought her a beautiful necklace and was bursting with excitement, hoping this trip could be a reset button, a way to find our way back to each other. I came home early from work that day, flowers in hand. As I walked up to the door, I heard voices from inside. Laughter. A man's laughter, deep and unfamiliar. My blood ran cold. I quietly unlocked the door and stepped inside. And there they were, in our living room, on our couch, Sarah and Mark. They weren't just talking. The scene that unfolded before me shattered my world into a million irreparable pieces. They didn't see me at first. I just stood there, frozen in the doorway, the flowers slipping from my hand and scattering on the floor. When Sarah finally looked up and saw me, the color drained from her face. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by my own ragged breath. In that moment, her shiny ring seemed to mock me, a symbol of promises she had broken, of a love that had clearly faded away long ago. I didn't shout. I didn't scream. I just felt empty. The man in my house, Mark, scrambled to get his things and rushed out, muttering apologies I didn't hear. Then it was just me and Sarah standing in the ruins of our marriage. "Leo, she started, her voice trembling. But what could she say? What excuse could possibly fix the devastation she had caused? "How long?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. The truth came out in a torrent of tears and confessions. It had been going on for 6 months. 6 months of lies, of stolen moments, of betrayal. While I was at home with our children, believing in our future, she was building a separate life with someone else. She said she was unhappy, that she felt trapped, that I didn't see her anymore. Her excuses felt like daggers, twisting the knife she had already plunged into my heart. She tried to blame me, to justify her actions, but all I could hear was the echo of her laughter with him. That night I packed a bag. I couldn't stay in that house, a place that now felt contaminated. The hardest part was looking at my kids, sleeping peacefully in their beds, oblivious to the fact that their world was about to be torn apart. I kissed them both on their foreheads, a silent promise that I would always be their father, no matter what. The days that followed were a blur of pain, lawyers, and difficult conversations. Telling the kids was the single most agonizing thing I have ever had to do. Seeing their confusion and hurt was a pain far worse than my own. There's no easy way to explain to a child why their family is breaking up. But in the midst of all this darkness, something unexpected happened. I started to heal. Away from the constant lies and suspicion, I began to find myself again. I focused on my kids, pouring all my love and energy into being the most stable and present father I could be. I started going to therapy, which was a game changer. It helped me process the anger, the betrayal, and the grief. It helped me understand that her choices were about her brokenness, not my inadequacy. I learned that forgiveness isn't about letting the other person off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the prison of bitterness. It's a long road, and I'm still walking it. Some days are harder than others, but I'm no longer that ghost in my own house. I'm rebuilding my life, piece by piece, on a new foundation. One of honesty, self-respect, and unconditional love for my children. My story is a painful one, but it's also a story of resilience. It's about discovering that even when the life you've built crumbles, you have the strength to build a new one. The shine on that ring may have been a lie, but the strength I found in myself is real, and it shines brighter than any diamond ever could. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've ever been through something similar, know that you are not alone, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. Please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories about overcoming life's greatest challenges. Your support means the world.